Get lined up. Get lined up. What's going on, everyone? Time to crack. Trilly's keeping it non-alcoholic today. Welcome to the Cold Ones Conversation, the greatest show on the internet, sponsored by Philly drinkers with the best glassware in the game. We're happy to have them. Listen to that pour. My name is Hollywood Harry Heaps, big hair. I go by many names, but on the birth certificate it says Harry Heaps, and I am joined by my co-host, the better half of this show, Brendan the Bod Petrilli. Trilly, how you doing today?
Doing swell. I'm doing superb. I'm doing fantastic. I'm doing awesome. I'm doing good.
Phenomenal,
I feel like
some
you're
might
doing a
say.
little bit better though.
Um, I genuinely thought that you might have to bail me out for trying to rob a bank because this past Monday, dude, I may I say I have not screamed that loud at a game since when I was 12, or was I 13 at the time? I'm trying to do the math of when the Ravens last won the Super Bowl. That was the Super Bowl for me. And maybe I overplayed my step. Maybe it's because I haven't been in a long, long time. It's been, it's been 10 years. It's been a decade. I haven't been to one like you've been to one and won one in 17 and lost this past year. But hey, the energy was there, ladies and gentlemen. And this episode, if you couldn't tell, it's the Lamar show. I had to pull out the classic, just like Lamar pulled out the classic out his bag, throwing it. But the Baltimore pulled out their bag, the classic, the 2000s defense style, takeaway after takeaway, sack after sack. I pulled out the classic LL Bean, the comfy and cozy. If you want to sponsor us, LL Bean, throw us a sponsorship. You're looking at the next greatest Barstool show right here with the next greatest co-host of all time. We're done doing all this producing Zoom stuff. We're going to have somebody in the back. We're going to say, get to the dungeon, and they're record. They're going to get it done for us while we scream into these microphones. But let's talk about it, dude. Let's try to keep on track here because you tell me sometimes I'm long-winded. So I'll try to keep it. I'll try to keep it in check. Lamar's numbers might say 19 touchdowns on the year, 7 interceptions, almost 4,000 yards, a QB rating of 63. But what they don't realize is you just watched the MVP of the league, a guy who, without the defense, still put 33 points on the number one scoring offense in the National Football League, who led his team, who's made it look like that Mark Andrews never existed, that made it look like Mitchell has never existed, in making Flowers a number one threat, in bringing OBJ's career back to life, in making guys like Bateman and Likely all-stars on this Ravens squad, and guys like Justice Hill and the Gus Bus do not stop. But you know what, dude? We got to talk about it because this is the truth of the matter. This is the best defense that we have had and the best offense that we have had since we won the Super Bowl. And there's no question about it. Clowney has been the best addition that we
Hey,
could have
we don't
had to the
speak of that
defensive
name.
line. Hey, I got to talk about it
We
quickly. I
don't
know
say
that we
that
don't talk
name.
about it with Eagles fans, but can we talk about one guy really quickly? Because obviously I can go on and on. The effort was there all night. We showed out. We left 14 points on the board by bringing out Justin way too early. Are you playing that or is that me? What's that coming from?
What?
I don't know what that is, but ESPN's playing something for me. The point is of what I'm trying to get at here. I'm hearing something in the headphones. I'm thinking that you're like screen sharing, doing something strange. How do you have a guy like Kyle Hamilton who goes from not almost knowing where the ball is one year and now becoming the breakout player of the year? How do you have a guy like Mike McDonald in the defensive coordinator who I was calling for him to get fired last year, and now he truly looks like a defensive coordinator who does deserve a head coaching job? How do you go from having guys like Stone who are covering all ends of the field? How do you have a guy like Roquan Smith Jr., aka Roquan Smith, aka Ray Lewis Jr., taking alive this Baltimore defense and creating opportunities that we wouldn't have otherwise for Lamar to put up 33 points, dude? It was a great day. I cannot believe that I actually have a scoring offense. I mean, dude, the new standard now for my team is plus 25 in every game. We score 25 points and more week after week after week after week. And we have takeaway after takeaway after takeaway after takeaway. 95 Urban even got saucy with it. He got saucy with it recording 2 sacks in. Clowney recording 1. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Williamson with 2. Kyle Hamilton with 1. I can go on and on, man, but it just comes down to the 49ers are fake. I don't want to hear anything about him. Brock Purdy's fake. I don't want to hear anything about him. And the Ravens are winning the Super Bowl. I don't want to hear anything about nobody. Go Ravens, go Vens. Ocho is the MVP. Rock on 8, rock on 8. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing what you said, Brock Purdy's that's just fraudulent. It just is.
Fraudulent. Fraudulent.
The two
Fraudulent
times
alert.
the two times he's had to play good defenses, he got knocked out of a NFC Championship game, and then he got absolutely dominated and sat out for a
Yep.
stinger.
Yep.
Like, come on now, like that stinger is a bunch of BS. They just got him out of there without saying that they were benching him. That's what went down there. We all know
Oh,
that.
100%.
So
100%.
it goes to show you that all you got to do is just have you got to get some pressure at this guy. Now Shanahan's done a great job trying to maneuver all these weapons around where he doesn't have to have all that pressure on him, right? But they can get to him. They can get to this guy and he will give you the ball. The biggest thing was saying, oh yeah, all he's got to do is be the point guard. He's got to move the ball around the field. Well, guess what? The point guard's going to turn the ball over sometimes, and when they do, they're ugly, and they're a bad football team. And
Not when you come
a
to play
fun,
with us.
it was a fun game to watch, man. Especially after the Birds get a win right before it, where that game was a little ugly and
Cheers.
a lot closer than it should have been, obviously. But it was good just to
Division
sit
rival.
back and that whole fourth quarter, you're like, it's like 33-10 or whatever, and you're
Yep.
like, this game is beyond over, but there's so much time left, and you're just like, it was just cruise control the rest of the way. It was good to see because like as I'm talking when you were talking there, I'm literally making the thumbnail. I'm getting the shades out on Lamar, where he's sitting on the sideline with the shades on, the
You
chain
have to,
out,
dog.
and then we got Roquan
With the visor flipped,
with the
is it
visor
that one?
flipped.
With the
Yeah,
visor flip. I know that exact
yeah,
photo, dog. That's Baltimore blood.
yeah.
That is
And,
Baltimore blood.
and then we got Roquan firing the boys up on the side because it's those two
Have to.
guys.
Have
Honestly,
to.
like those two guys are the heart of this football team, and they're what
Yep.
getting it going in the right direction for this Ravens team. Because honestly, it's crazy the way that they were able to bring in Roquan last year, right?
Yep.
Middle of last year.
Yes. Yeah,
That
middle of last year, wearing 18 before he put on Agent Zero, before he put on the cape.
Yeah, and it wasn't a surprise that Chicago let him walk out the door, but just the amount of talent that he had to be out there to be had, and for you guys to go and where everybody has gone away from, I've said it over and over and over again, the linebacker position, especially in the Eagles, it's not as coveted for
No.
teams anymore. You guys went out, you gave him the money, and it's paid off because this guy
Yep.
just changes the defense. You see it on the other side of the football with Fred Warner, right? Like most of these defenses are led by middle linebackers that can go sideline to sideline and just wreak havoc where quarterbacks can't get loose and get those extra plays anymore because those guys
Yep.
can just chop them down. That they can't just hit the checkdowns because they're right up on their ass on the running backs.
Yep.
It's fun to watch that defense play right now, and it feels like I don't know. The big plays just aren't there on offense quite yet, too, which makes me feel even more hopeful. Like the big run
Yeah.
plays aren't there. The
Yep.
big deep balls we had a couple the past couple weeks to Odell against the Rams and stuff, but those big electrifying Lamar Jackson plays haven't been quite there yet to what it has been
Yeah.
in the past. There's been
They've been more out of
moments,
Zay.
but
Yeah.
it's not like, holy cow, here's Lamar.
Yeah.
It's the Lamar show. Now, it was the Lamar show, but it wasn't as flashy that we've seen.
100%.
And it gives you more and more hope that it's still more to be shown. It's not like you peaked after
No.
this win.
It kind of goes back to, well, that's almost my whole point is like Lamar is still yet to play his best football. And what I think is so crazy is like Lamar is gearing up for, and I hope it's not the same result, no shots to be fired, but he's gearing up for that Jalen type Super Bowl game where he rushes for 3 tugs. I mean, who picks a quarterback to have 3 rushing touchdowns in the Super Bowl? Nobody does. If one person can send me an actual bet slip that put for him to have 3 or more touchdowns I will personally give you $100 if you actually had that and you can
But
prove it to
I
me.
mean,
You
if they
send me the
did it, they
bank.
don't need your money because they made plenty on that bet slip.
Yeah, but hey, if as a true better once will have, they'll roll that C note into the next. But the thing that I think, to your point, you're so right, dude. Right, the guy that's made those flashy plays, right? Excuse me, flashy plays that we've seen. It's a guy like Zay, a guy that I knocked when we first drafted him, dude. I mean, what an electrifying rookie this guy has been. He's going to go on to be the best receiver we've ever drafted.
I
You
mean,
know,
we were
we
here live on Call One, on Call One Conversations talking
and I
about
had
it.
my head like this.
You and Mr. Blasek. Shout out Mr. Blasek. He's
Yep,
out of the hospital now, nice and healthy.
yep.
It's like, so we
Give
love
it
those
up.
guys down there in the family. But yeah, you guys weren't thrilled about that pick there, and all of a sudden this
No,
guy's an absolutely electric weapon for this offense.
he's the best, dude. He's the best. I mean, there's not another young receiver doing it the way this kid is doing. And the biggest reason, I'm not attributing it all to his success, but he plays like a smaller, young Odell Beckham Jr. His shift, you see it the two examples that I give most recently. He had two breakaway plays where he shifted four players simultaneously and making them miss two tackles and then gaining another 7 yards after reception. That's how Odell used to play. Odell has this insane shiftiness, even with his long core, that he's able to do with his hip movement. And that's what Zay does with that smaller body and that smaller frame. He's just an incredible athlete and an incredible receiver for our core. But what I think is just so crazy, man, is, and we really saw it, it really started to open 2 weeks before that Browns game, which unfortunately we lost. But I've got a key on it, man. And that's this kid, Kyle Hamilton, dude. I mean, oh my God. Are we watching? I'm going to be the first guy to say it. Are we watching the next Ed Reed for our organization come alive? Are we seeing this young kid coming out of Notre Dame who is having pick sixes throughout his season, who is having turnover after turnover, who's creating second opportunities for the offense to be able to put 7 on the board week after? I haven't seen a cornerback or secondary position do that since 20 wore the jersey. And just like you've got in this guy in Roquan, who's now wearing Agent Zero, who hasn't done it since 52 was on the field, it is crazy, man. I mean, dude, that we took the ball away. We went against one of the most comparable offensive cores. Now, don't get me wrong. I respect Christian McCaffrey still rushed for like 105 yards. He's that type of dude. He should. He's the number one back in the NFL. He's going to possibly be in the conversation for greatest running back of all time. No matter who the defense is, he should be putting up numbers. But dude, outside of that, man, I'm trying not to cuss. We took these guys such to the house. It was crazy, dude. And I think kind of the last point that I would just move off of what you ended your point with, dude, that Lamar is yet to play his best football. My question is, he's yet to play his best football with a team that's battled injuries week after week. People forget we've missed Stanley for 5 weeks this year. We missed Linderbaum for a week this year. We've missed Mark Andrews now for 4 weeks this year. We missed Dobbins after week 1 this year. I can go on and on with the guys who have gone down over and over and over again. And yet we're the number 1 team right now in the National Football League. And that to me is the biggest point of this Ravens squad. I just name to you key role players who are starters on any team in this league. I'm not talking about guys that could get beat out for positions. I'm talking about A1 starters in guys like Stanley, guys like Mark Andrews, guys like Dobbins, guys like Tyler Linderbaum. And we have missed those guys for multiple weeks this year, and we're 12-3. So how I feel right now, dude, is I feel indestructible. We're going to go into the Miami game later, but that's how I feel, dude. I feel like we're bulletproof.
Yeah, it's a good thing to feel, you know. Before we flip off of this here, let's flip to the other side of that game.
Yeah, let's kill them.
The Niners. I mean, they take care of business against the Cowboys. They take care of the business against their Eagles. They're the best team in the NFL. Everybody's saying that they're the best, this and that they're going to dominate the Ravens. They're going to kick their ass. Some people were saying, and
he didn't put the pads on. As my QB said, he didn't put the pads on.
And they go out there and they just absolutely laid an egg. I mean, both sides of the football. Like that team, now is that more of of where kind of the Eagles kind of got, where they ran through all these teams and then all of a sudden, you just run out of gas. And it just kind of it's tough to play an extended 5-game stretch the way that it was for that team, or do you think it was just the Ravens just really laid out a nice solid blueprint where this team isn't perfect? You can get to
Yeah.
them. You can shut down Debo. You can shut down McCaffrey a little bit.
Yeah.
They let him run the one drive, and I said to you, I was like, we got to shut this down now. We got to nip it in the butt now. You can't let them keep running the football
Yep.
here. And they did. They shut it down.
Yep.
And once you make Brock Purdy start to throw the football,
Game over.
bad things can happen for him and for
Game
that
over.
49ers offense.
Yep. I mean, dude, I think to your point, kind of, it comes down to, I'll address their defense first because I think the offense was the bigger issue. Their defense was just not prepared for anything that we had to throw at them. And that comes down to the point that is so true. It's why he's 19-1 against the NFC, but it's why there is not a single quarterback in this league that I can say that I have watched since being a fan, not even Cam Newton, that's harder to prepare for than Lamar Jackson. There just isn't. And what's crazy now is that every year he's taken elite. Every year he's taken elite. And now he doesn't even rely on his feet anymore. He just throws the damn ball. And dude, you were the first person. I mean, I was going at it, but you called out, you truly called out the truth in how badly the Ravens have treated Lamar up until this point of not giving him receivers. And now you see what happens when you do. The dude looks like he could lead us to a Super Bowl. Now, in that same respect, he's 100% got to get to an AFC championship this year. It's AFC chip or bust. Or bust. Some people would say it's Super Bowl or bust. I'm saying it's AFC championship or bust. We got to win 2. I want us to see us win 2 playoff games. But to stick on the 49ers, dude, they were just not prepared. And like you said, this defense is not to be feared. But to your point, dude, how can you have those all-stars around you and you screw up that badly? I mean, I know how good my defense is, but holy crap, were you just looking to January already? Were you just looking past the Ravens, looking past Washington, looking past LA? Because that's what it came off to me as. They thought that we were going to be a joke. They thought that when they put on what they put on to you and to Dallas, there's no one that can stop us. And they got caught with their foot in their mouth, but they got exposed, dude. They don't have a quarterback, in my opinion, that's better than Jared Goff. Like, I don't think after that performance that Brock Purdy is better than Jared Goff.
Yeah.
I think that Brock Purdy right now is Derek Carr.
Yeah.
That's coming from a guy who's been a Carr guy.
Yeah.
But he is. He's not better than Jared Goff.
I mean, Brock Purdy was the MVP favorite going into that game. Now he's like 5th. That's another conversation for another time, the MVP talk, but it's wild how
much changed.
Yeah. In one game where he was getting the ball out and he was facilitating, and then all of a sudden you just lay an absolute egg. And then you look back at a couple of these games like, well, was it really him? Was it really him making these big time throws? Or what was it just getting the ball in Debo and McCaffrey and Kittle's hands? Yeah, he's made some great throws throughout the year in big time spots, but I just feel like if you keep putting the pressure on him to make those big time throws, it's just not there. And we've seen it the year and a half now through his career. Now, can he change and put everybody away again? 100% sure they can. But they are just not the unstoppable force that everybody thought they were a week ago. And that's what the great thing about the NFL is. It gives other teams hope now that if they lose another game, which I think they can against the Rams at the end of the year, the Eagles can get in there. The Detroit Lions can get the 1 seed. And then all of a sudden, who knows where this goes? And the NFC can be in so much in flux because the level of football just really isn't great across the board on either side, AFC or NFC. I don't know how you feel about that. Like,
well, I want to ask you, how did we go from the NFC being so top heavy to now it's anybody's chance? We went from at the beginning of this season, and honestly, throughout week 10, there's only 2 real teams, the Philadelphia Eagles, San Francisco 49ers, and then Dallas kind of emerged. And now after this loss, dude, it's like, it's anyone's chance right now.
Yeah, I'm still not in on the Lions. I'm not in on the Rams. But like they're feisty, good football teams that can go and they can catch a win against one of these teams because everybody is flawed in their own
Yeah.
ways. And
Yeah.
that's the biggest difference, I think, now is you've seen where teams can get exposed. It's on tape. And these other teams are talented enough to be able to catch them
Yep.
and be able to put together a good 60 minutes of football and knock one of these teams off. Now, will it happen? We'll have to see, obviously, but yeah, it's definitely going to be an interesting playoff run here.
Yep.
I mean, even the Bucks can get in if Baker can keep slinging that rock. I mean, they
He's
could
got
win a
another
shootout
contract too. Yeah, he's got another contract coming too.
Yeah, so like there's teams up and down that NFC now that can really fight for a spot.
But see, what I think is so interesting is that the roles have reversed throughout the season for not the divisions, for the conferences, and I want to get your opinion on this. The NFC throughout week 10 to 12, I would argue, again, only two real teams had a chance of making the Super Bowl. Eagles, 49ers. Then Dallas got in. We thought that maybe, Detroit could be there. And then it was all 49ers, and now it's everybody's game. And at the beginning of the season, the AFC was not top heavy at all. It's like anybody can get here. The Chiefs could be feisty in January. The Ravens are always there. Look at Miami. Look how fast they are, right? What's going to happen with the Bengals? Are they going to get better with injury? Is Trevor Lawrence going to get better with injury? What's going to happen there? Are the Browns feisty? And now all of a sudden, the roles have completely reversed. And now the AFC is completely top heavy, where I think that the only legitimate teams for a January run are the Baltimore Ravens and the Miami Dolphins, who are about to play each other this Sunday. And it's completely top heavy. You know that this Chiefs team cannot go through the gauntlet of 3 games to get to the Super Bowl. You know that Trevor Lawrence cannot go through that.
Especially
that the
if
Browns
the Chiefs can't get that bye.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know that Trevor Lawrence, that the Browns cannot, right? You know that Josh Allen maybe now can get a win, but he's not going to get it done. If he couldn't get it done last year, he can't. So where I want to know with you is like, how do you see that? Like, do you see that the same as me? How like the AFC went from the AFC now is the NFC and the NFC now is the AFC, where anybody has a chance now in the NFC. And I don't think anybody does in the AFC. It's only 2 teams.
Yeah. Just quarterback play, honestly.
Yeah.
Like that's where it's really changed, where Jalen Hurts has really struggled. Dak Prescott has his moments where he just lays an absolute egg. Brock Purdy can turn the ball over. The quarterback play has gone from having, 4 of the top 5 candidates for the MVP to flipping and then, bottom 5, bottom 10 of the MVP now. And Lamar and Tua and Tyreek Hill, they've emerged to the top again, where they're getting hot and really starting to put up some points. And that's kind of where it's kind of flipped. It's the quarterback play, obviously, in my mind.
I mean, I totally agree. And the last thing that I'll say on this conversation, then we can touch some Eagles and then go into our bets. But you better have tailed the Ravens money line. Because out of respect, we were
all on it. We were all on it out of respect.
I put it into parlays and I said, you know what? That's not good enough. We're going straight here. I put $50 in that MF for a 1/170 out of respect to the team. When I tell you you take Ravens money line, you take the Ravens money line. All right, dude. I should have
did it. I was up big on the weekend. I should have.
I know.
Just drunk after the Eagles, and I just missed it. I was opening presents. We were doing Pollyannas, and I missed it before the game started. And by the time I looked, it was like 14-0 already. Well, I'm like, I'm screwed. It's not worth putting money on it now.
This is a live report, by the way. I haven't even told you this yet. The amount of our friends that texted me while you were recording yourself with the Giants game was out of control. They were like, look at his fucking face. And your mouth is like agape. Like, looking at it, and people are like, what is good with him, bro? Those videos were hilarious, dude. They were so funny.
What, the pick 6 one where I was
yes, it was hilarious, dude.
Yeah. Well, I'm getting ready to record thing. I'm gonna get an AJ Brown touchdown, and I was gonna go nuts, and then all of a sudden it's going to the house. I'm like, what the? Yeah, but
so let's talk about that, man. I mean, dude, I I want to focus more on the Giants here than anything, because I also have another guy to ask you about. Number one, talking about quarterback play off of your last point. Talk Eagles, Giants, and then picks. I want to first ask you, what do the Giants do with Daniel Jones? Because their backups are better than him.
Oh yeah, Tyrod Taylor might be better than him.
He 100%. Tyrod Taylor,
Yeah.
a.k.a. Raven number 2, a.k.a. Super Bowl champion Raven, Tyrod Taylor.
He's on that Ravens team.
He was the backup to Flacco, dude.
Oh, he's had a crazy career.
He's had a crazy career, dude. An awesome career.
Yeah.
But my point just is through that is, first of all, let's address the DeVito thing. Why would you do that to that kid?
Yeah, that was messed up.
Like, talk about killing his energy.
Killing everything about him. Like, yeah, he wasn't playing great. The Eagles were beating him up pretty good. But what did you have to win in this football game that you really needed Tyrod Taylor to come in? Like,
yeah, correct.
Now they almost came back.
He's delivered you 4 wins. 4 wins.
Yeah.
As a third string backup.
And just the disrespect like that was insane.
Yeah.
Like, it's grasping for air like they have been all year. And it comes down to the organization as a whole has really lost all the meaning behind it. I don't know if he's Dable's thinking that he could lose his job, I guess so, right? That's the only reason why he makes that move, is he thinks he's going to be losing his job here, so he wants to try to get another win to protect it against the top, 3 team in the NFC.
If I was him, I want to be out anyway.
I agree. I think we said that a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, we did.
It's kind of just a mutual thing. Hey, let me go up to Buffalo.
Let me go
to
Buffalo.
Thing.
Yes, yeah. Dude. Anywhere, dude. He could be. I mean, dude, he could be a head coach anywhere.
Yeah.
He would be a great head. Dude, imagine how good he would do out in LA with Herbert. Oh my God.
Now, does this year mean last year's coach of the year was kind of fraudulent for him? Because the team was supposed to be better this year. You had Saquon back. You had a couple different weapons. You had the defensive players. Danny Dimes got the contract. Should have got paid more, by the way. But like, you were supposed to have all this finally come together. We had a good year, The Eagles beat the crap out of us in the playoffs, but hey, we weren't supposed to be there. This is the year we can go and compete for the division. And then just absolutely just be nothing all year long. I mean, was that on the coach this year of not being it, or just the circumstances? Daniel Jones is just not that guy. They gave him the contract based off of 1 year of football rather than the 4 years that preceded that one good year. And maybe those 3 years were actually the telltale sign of what he actually is as a quarterback, and not the one last year.
Has he been in the NFL that long?
I think this was his 5th year, I believe.
Holy crap, dude.
Yeah.
Life is
he was the first round pick, so he would have had at least a 4-year with a 5th year option.
He was the 12th pick from Duke, I think. Yeah. Little knowledge right there off the top of the dome.
Wow. Not like everybody didn't know that he was from whatever.
Yeah, but how about the 12th pick? Is that right? Look it up right now.
I'm looking.
You didn't know what draft pick he was. You thought
2015.
All right.
I think it was pick 8 or something.
No, 12 and 8. 12 and 8.
Daniel Jones. Why is this so hard to find?
Price is Right rules. Oh, we both lose. Both went over.
6.
We both went over. We both lose. So the no name wins. Yeah, dude. No, I don't get it, man. I don't know why you bench that kid. I think it's so disrespectful after all he's done for you. He delivered you 4 wins. You paid the wrong guy. This in all honesty, dude. We haven't even talked about it. This might be the next landing spot for Russell.
Yeah.
You cut Danny Dimes, you pay him out.
That's a lot of dead cap between the two of those guys.
It is, but it's like, why would you keep this guy? Like, how do you, as Daniel Jones, how do you go in there and know that a third string delivered more wins than you did? And I don't care about it, like injuries. You weren't playing well when you were healthy, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Like you got the floor wiped with you by the Eagles.
Yeah, and then it just goes to show you that the real Italians are in South Philadelphia at the end of the day.
South Philadelphia.
Like, we're down
Okay.
here in C6, we're hanging out.
So let's talk quarterback play here real quick. You're not even Italian, so we're not even going to talk about it.
What are you talking
But
about?
but I gotta ask you something. I gotta ask you something. Does Joe Flacco get a starting job at the end of this year to a team?
Well, we're not even
Like
gonna
let me
talk.
just
We're
layer
not even
this
gonna
real
talk
quick.
about the good. What happened in that football game?
Okay, we could talk about it. Go ahead. Tell me about it.
Nah, it was a good game. I mean, the other than Boston Scott getting absolutely
Yeah.
destroyed by Zacchaeus and that pick six, that was a blowout. It was.
Jalen has his swagger back after that game, I would say. I mean, obviously he didn't want to throw a pick six, but
The
I
first
mean he
half he
does.
did, and then all of a sudden they stopped. They played not to lose, and they almost lost. Is what happened. They stopped. I don't know. They stopped handing the ball off to Swift. They stopped
Yeah.
the RPOs. I don't get that. You look at it, they only threw the ball over the middle of the field one time, and it was to Devontae Smith for that touchdown, 30-plus yard touchdown. I don't get why they're so hesitant throwing it over the middle of the field right now.
I don't either, especially because you got Goddard back. And I would
Yeah,
assume that he would be the guy that would be bringing that play type back, right? And I bet Goddard would have an anytime touchdown. I put it into the same game parlay that you made. I threw that in there, and like they're not doing that with him. Why is that?
him or AJ Brown, even like these are two big body guys that can go across the middle and run free, and they're just not. It's a lot of on the play calling and sitting doing the morning shows, cutting up a lot of Sirianni's press conferences right now. It's the offense is all it's Nick's offense. It's always been Nick's offense. Nah, he's trying to cover for Brian Johnson here, where this guy has really struggled to find what the identity of his offense is. He's trying to go off a set of what Nick wants to do, and he's trying to make it his own, and
Yep.
it's floundering with all these bubble screens, with all the stupid little QB draws that they work every once in a while, but at the same time, when Jalen's so banged up at times, you just stop.
He's been hurt so much this year too. That's another thing that people aren't talking. Dude, Jalen has battled through injury after injury this year. His ribs, his knee, for God's sake, has been crazy on and off. And yet they are still winning games in a really big way. Your defense has floundered at times, but you guys have gotten it done. And I don't think that people understand how, like, we have forgotten how many guys have gotten hurt this year. Like I think like people have like forgotten that Aaron Rodgers in week 1, a top 10 quarterback, season over, first snap, you know? And it's like guys like Jalen are still getting it done. He's not complaining about a stinger. He's not like Daniel Jones sitting on the sideline. I know that obviously Daniel Jones got actually hurt. I'm just making a point. Yeah, dude, I don't know. I mean, you guys definitely have the ability right now where I think you've got to lean more into that offensive line and you just got to
Yeah,
pound that rock when you've
they
got
they
that
don't
lead.
they
And
don't,
they
and
don't.
there's no play action. There's no
Yeah.
threat of a run game that
Yep.
it should be. And everybody's been screaming it. People have been outside the NovaCare complex having run the ball signs. People are chanting run the ball. And Jalen's like, well, you shouldn't be doing that while we're on offense. Let's try to keep it quiet, guys. He kind of said it tongue in cheek a little bit, but at the same time,
Uh-huh.
come on now, bro. Like, read
Yeah.
the room here, man. Like, you're right. Give the ball to Swift. Give the ball to Boston Scott. Everybody wanted a Boston Scott touchdown and their mother on Christmas, and you guys wouldn't run the damn football in the second half. I did. That's what I didn't get. You're up big. Run the goddamn ball. Play action passes. Hit Smitty over the middle. They're trying to be this air raid offense that just they aren't. I love Jalen. He's shown that he can throw the ball around, but set it up.
Set
Set
it up.
up those passes, not
And
just
that
right off the
happens.
rip.
Yeah.
Let it
And
let
that
it
happens through
progress
your offensive
naturally
line.
and take those shots. Not
Yeah.
say, "Hey, this is it, first play." No.
Let's open with it. Let's not open with it.
7-yard
Let's get
run
to
on
that
first
cadence.
down, then we can take a shot or it's just dysfunctional right now. And can they figure it out? Yeah, 100% they can. Can they get this moving
Yeah.
and get it right against the Cardinals and then again against the Giants on the last week of the season? 100% I think they can. Can they get the first seed? Maybe. We could use some help. We need the help, but we look good for the division. All those Dallas fans can suck it, but keep moving forward here and talk about a little bit more of the quarterback play where some teams like the Giants, like the Jets, like a bunch of these other teams that have lost quarterbacks throughout the year could have signed this guy off the street
Yep.
and was willing to play. He wanted to play, and he goes to Cleveland, and he's slinging that rock. He is elite, and that man's name is Joe Flacco.
He's not playing a day over 31, dog. A day over 31. So I just want to lay out two things for this guy. What I would say I hope happens to him. And I want to know, A, if you think that they're good, and B, if you think that they will. We know that there are two teams 100%. If there's one needs to act smart, the other we know is definitely going to do it. We know that there's two teams who are 100% going to draft their franchise quarterback. That's the Chicago Bears and that's the New England Patriots. They're doing it 100%. In my opinion,
Some people would say
after the
otherwise.
way, huh?
The Bears, they might stick with Fields.
I know, which is the stupidest thing I've ever heard. And I like Fields, but you got to go get somebody else. But either way, I honestly think that what you do, if you are Chicago and if you are the Patriots, especially honestly, if you're the Patriots, I think you go offer Joe Flacco a $4 million 1-year contract. You've seen what this guy can do coming off of the couch. Imagine what he could do with a full season of OTAs, with a full offseason, full OTAs, learning your playbook in the offseason, and getting for your number 1 overall draft pick to get to sit behind a Super Bowl winning quarterback, a guy who went through Andrew Luck. I love to quote it. Andrew Luck, Tom Brady, and Peyton Manning to get to the Super Bowl and then beat Colin Kaepernick in the Super Bowl, who played with guys, defensive players like Ray Lewis, like Ed Reed, who threw to Anquan Bolden, and now is making it look like that if Cleveland had had him on staff the whole time, they absolutely could be making a run for the AFC if they had had him longer. What I would say if I was one of those two organizations, we want him to take the hits that we want to keep invested, not having our number 1 overall draft pick have to take so early, and let them literally learn from a Super Bowl winning quarterback who can still do it at 37 with elite talent. Like if I'm the Patriots, he is built the Patriot way. His step back, his shuffle, his under center, his voice. He's got Tom Brady flowing through his bones.
Yeah,
Made him his bitch.
He pretty much looks exactly like him.
Made him his bitch. That's all I'll say. Just like Big Dick Nick made him
Well,
his bitch.
you keep saying that he's going to go elsewhere. What's it to him just staying there in Cleveland if he keeps making a run?
Do they do that though? When
we
with
were talking
Deshaun?
about these quarterbacks with big money that might just get cut. We'll talk about
Deshaun's
Russell
not
in a
getting cut
second.
though. Deshaun's not getting
I know
cut.
because it's all guarantee.
What if he goes back to Denver?
Yeah.
What if Flacco goes back to Denver?
That'd be cool.
They don't have to pay him. I'm telling you, all they're going to give him is $4 million, and he'll take it. He'll pump out another kid with that money.
10.
Nah. Yeah, like 7 million guaranteed. 10.
Yeah.
Do they give him 2 or 1?
Just 1 year for 10. That's like what the going rate for a quarterback, backup. It is. It's kind of crazy. 1 year, 1 year for an NFL quarterback's $36 million.
That's crazy.
That's what the franchise tag is. And you're saying he's going to get $4 million after leading this team to a playoff?
We've only seen him play like 7 games. The point is,
so now we're backtracking on him now.
The 7 games are phenomenal. No, I'm backing up my math. But my point is, dude, are you going to tell me, wouldn't you want that? If you were in the Patriots position, let's go back to center here. If you were in Chicago's position, wouldn't you want your guy to get to sit for a year behind a guy who can genuinely play, who can win still in this league?
Yeah, that stuff has kind of died over the last 2 years, it feels like.
Yes, I agree.
Having the young quarterback sit behind a veteran.
Yep.
The pressure, we saw with Bryce Young this year, CJ Stroud, who has shined to the moment, at least for the most part. And then, Fields, you saw him get kind of shoved in there after sitting the first couple weeks of his career. That mold of behind a guy for a year or two has really, really gone away. And the high turnover for these top draft picks have been just insane. Instead of letting these guys develop and let them get a basis and the footing under them, a lot of the times their coordinators are gone after a year too. And they were
100%.
trying to learn this offense that they were sitting under, and then all of a sudden, new coordinator goes out, that new scheme comes in, they get thrusted in there. There's so many different situations, and I feel like probably the Patriots would be the best spot for one of these young
Yep.
quarterbacks to
Yep.
land,
Yep.
because there has been stuff talked about Bill maybe leaving and going elsewhere, but if he can get a quarterback, Bill's there for life. So that,
100%.
and that's going to be the biggest, most consistent spot to be in. So yeah, if you have a guy like Flacco to really go in there and give you 10 strong weeks, and then maybe you get to your rookie guy at the end of the season when you're 3-8, 3-4, 3-8
Yep.
by week 11, and then you give your QB a shot. Yeah, that would be ideal. I just don't see it happening anymore across the league.
So then what is Joe Flacco's future in this league? Because I will say I think he's got one.
You really
But
do?
what is it? I mean,
I
dude, I don't think that you can do what you have done
Yeah, as
and
long as
and it
he just keep having fun playing, yeah, for sure. He's got a spot.
I mean, dude, I'll say it right now. I think that Joe Flacco is better than Geno Smith.
I don't hate that. I think they're
I th-
very close.
I think that Joe Flacco is
I mean, he's better than Mullins. He's better than
like, does Joe Flacco go to Atlanta?
yeah, he's better than Brock Purdy.
They're not bringing him in.
No, I'm just kidding. Yeah,
You know,
he would be an upgraded quarterback in Atlanta. He'd be
yeah,
an upgraded at quarterback in, I don't know,
he'd
maybe
be
Carolina, but you're giving that young guy a shot now. Being up in either New York Cities, he'd be the Patriots. He would be down in. Would he be better than Baker right now?
no.
I
You
don't
got to
think
stick
so
with
either.
Baker, and
Yeah,
Baker deserves it.
Denver for sure.
Denver for sure.
Vegas,
They,
yes.
that might be the answer right there. You've had no luck. You're not going to have a high enough draft pick.
Yeah,
Do you go get Joe Flacco?
you still got
That's
Devontae.
probably your best move is to go get a guy like Joe.
Mhm.
He's going to make you competitive against Patrick Mahomes. He will.
Yeah, and you got a good enough defense with the culture down there with the new interim coach who probably should get that deal. That
100% he should.
like they have no more money to pay these big name guys. You
No.
might as well give it to the guy who's gotten you some wins, gotten that locker room together, and you don't have to pay him that much. So, so they don't have to worry about firing him in a year or two when it comes down to it if he isn't good enough and that wears off. But yeah, like they have millions and millions and millions of dollars on all these head coaches now that they've let go over the past 4 years. It's absurd. So yeah, that's probably the most stable situation in all of sports
Yeah.
is the head coach for Vegas and the quarterback. Because if you're getting paid that money, they can't afford to get rid of you anymore. They just can't. But when you look at it, the one state right over next to them there, they got deep money. They got deep pockets in the Walmart family out there. And
Yep.
you were texting me what today, right? The days are mixing together with the news that they're going to be getting rid of Russell comes out yesterday.
Yeah. Which makes to me like, I mean, dude, I just don't get it because Russell Wilson has proven that he can still win in this league and he's a good quarterback. And to me, it's like, what my question is, what's the better opportunity? Because let's talk about that real quick. For a fact, unlike Vegas, who is kind of a toss up, the Broncos for sure are not going to get a top 15 draft pick. They're not. They've won too many games.
Yeah,
So
they
why
came too
would you
close to getting that wild card spot.
so why would you give up this guy? Who's better? Who's on the
It's
market? What are you
Sean
going to go get?
Payton. It's what it is. I mean, Sean Payton just doesn't like him.
But who are you going to go get? I wonder if Sean Payton is a Satanist. You think?
He
Because
did coach
Russell's
for the Saints for all that time.
And Russell's an outspoken man of God.
He was fed up at the Saints.
Nobody celebrates Christmas like Russell will. That's all I'll say, dog. All right. And I think, and I think, I love your faces when I say stuff like that. You're like, all right. I
No,
mean, what? Well, but seriously, answer my question. What is a better alternative right now that's going to be open in the league? Who are you going to go get?
it's
Mac
and to
Jones?
eat all that money too. Like I don't get
Yeah,
it. Like you're better off just keep playing with Russell and just keep showing that he has somewhat value in the
right.
league rather than just see you. I don't get it. I really
Because he's
don't.
going to start somewhere. He is
He's kind
100%.
he's like Derek Carr, honestly, last year. I mean, that's why I sent you.
Sure, sure.
Same exact way. Derek Carr still had some in the tank. A lot of teams were willing to go out and get him. A team went out and gave him good money to bring him in. And all of a sudden, yeah, the talent's really not there for him. Not
Yeah,
much left in the tank. Now, is that the same thing with Russell here? Maybe. He really had a bad year last year, started rough, got back into a groove this year, was really starting to click, and then they just kind of fell apart last week. Um, but there's still something there though, and why it comes to the turnover of the NFL nowadays. But where you see QBs dropping left and right, and he has been a consistent force there for them for the last 2 years at least. Why, like, would they rather watch? I don't know who do they got as their backup going in there right now? I don't even know.
what's his name? Stedham?
Oh,
Stedham?
Stedham, is that who the Jets have going tonight? I don't know. Like there's all these backups that have kind of filtered out throughout the league the last couple years. Yeah, I would love
Backup
this.
QB.
Yeah,
Jared Stidham. Yeah,
oh, it is
Jared
Stidham.
Stidham.
Now who's playing for the Jets tonight?
Oh, it's Zachy Will. Betty and the
No, not
Jet. Betty, Betty and the Jet. Yeah.
Simeon. Simeon, that's what I was thinking of.
They got Simeon under
Simeon
center?
Stedham. Yeah.
Jeez.
What do you want?
Whoa. Paul's in the pod. Please, we're in studio right now. Come on.
I'm adding on to the thing.
Adding on to
Who's
the
that? Your
thing.
brother? Tell him to step out.
Another extra 36 million guaranteed if he played the rest of the season.
That is the reason why they're resting him now, because if he would get hurt,
I know that, but they're going to cut him.
and they're still going to be paying him. Yeah.
Yeah, they're still going to owe him.
They save 36 mil, but they're still paying him another 100 plus.
Correct.
Yeah. So what is 36 mil really saving that much for you? Like, I guess.
I don't get it, dude. I don't get it at all. So let's say it right now. We're saying Joe Flacco goes to the Raiders, and then let's hit bets. This is our last point. It's the Lamar show. We talked Ravens, we talked Eagles, we talked the disgustingness that the Giants did to DeVete. Where does Russell Wilson go if he gets benched, dude? Where is his actual landing spot? I'm going to give you I'll give you my three places quickly. I think that after what we've seen in Carolina, if you have the cap room, you go get him. You let Cam sit behind him. They have very similar builds, how they've come into this league, similar playing styles. That's his name, isn't it?
Who'd you say? You said Cam, Bryce Young.
Yeah. Oh, Bryce Young, excuse me. You go get Bryce Young, former Carolina quarterback Cam Newton. You go get Bryce Young.
Been a couple of years.
Yeah, it's been a couple of years. You have Bryce Young sit behind Russell Wilson in a very failing division. I think that's a very smart move.
Does he go back to Seattle?
No. They paid Gino too much.
Yeah, but
Washington is a fair guess because yes, Sam, you could build around him, but I think that right now you need a guy to be able to compete because clearly the Eagles are taking over. Dallas is the second alternative, and you never know with the Giants these days. You can't be the rollover team anymore. You need a guy who's there. And finally, I think the last team that I could really see him starting on,
maybe the Patriots
is maybe he's the one who goes and takes the Vegas job. Maybe he takes the Vegas job or the Atlanta job. Yeah. Like I see Flacco going to either one of those teams, and I could see Russell going to one of those teams. Mm-hmm. But I think that Russell's probably going to go more to another NFC team. I don't know if it's going to be an AFC team. Mm-hmm. But I could definitely see Russell, staying in division, in all honesty. Yeah. That would be weird if he stayed in the division, but I could see it.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think?
Ugh.
Philadelphia?
I like that Panthers a little bit.
Me too.
Just because that owner is so like involved and like
Yes.
he
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 wants his
want
team to be successful.
he wants to keep moving these pieces around and making it work because they do have some defensive talent and Chin and Burns and he brought in Thielen. Like they have talent on that team. It's just the quarterback play. They just need to let the guy sit a little bit. And maybe they realize
Yep.
that they bring in Russ and you have him play for a year and let Bryce Young really keep developing behind them. But maybe it's too late, honestly, to do that. Where he's played enough, and now if you go and you get somebody else for next year, that might put him down a little bit and be like, I'm not good enough maybe for this, even though he's the number 1 overall pick. So
I don't think it does for a guy like him, though, specifically. And I'm going to say for one reason why, because he's an Alabama kid. And at Alabama, at any time, you can be sat because
yeah,
there's a
that's true.
million others
That's
of you.
true. And you
You
saw
can
it
be
happen with
sat.
Jalen.
It's straight up.
Yeah.
Got sat for Tua and supported him all the way through. But then he knew he wasn't going to get a chance again, goes to Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm.
So
this is just the number 1 pick, though, is crazy for that to happen.
yes and no, man. I mean, again, dude, it just comes down to, do you want this kid to be your quarterback in the next 10 years? I think if you want that, you go get a guy who's a Super Bowl champion who plays the way that this kid plays.
Yeah. Now,
In
me
Bryce Young,
personally, I would like to
aka
see
Cam
him
Newton.
go to. I would like to see him go to Washington. I would like to see him go to the Giants because I know what I'm getting out of him at this point in his career. I would like to play him twice a year.
To the picks, the Lamar show, to the picks. Let's start with our first unders and underdogs. Let's give it to them straight. We bring you the best betting knowledge this side of the East Coast. Nobody can stop us. We are here and we're ready to lay the points. We're ready to win it all. I am going to start with my first underdog. And dude, I can't believe I'm saying this, but I think it's a sure thing. Prime time. Packers plus 1.5. Packers 1.5 in division rivalry to the Vikings. I like that spread. I'll take the Packers I'll take the Packers Sunday night. Packers plus 1.5.
Why didn't any of these? Why didn't? Oh, it's Saturday. That's why. Why didn't
it's not.
Miami Baltimore get flexed to Sunday night or something?
Why did it not? Correct. It's the best game this whole week.
Yeah, like
No
why?
offense, but like you playing the Cardinals is like you guys are
No.
gonna win that game.
No, well, I mean, we're a 1 o'clock game too, so like, but like, why didn't that game get flexed? Why didn't? I feel like they really neglected the flex this year. The only one they really did was the Eagles to Monday night against Seattle.
The scheduling this year was one of the worst of all time.
Like, why don't you change New Orleans Bucks to a later, Sunday or Monday night? Like
Right.
that's a good individual game. Both teams are vying for the division.
The division.
So I like there was potential to move one of these games, and why I don't know why they didn't.
I don't get it either, brother. I don't. Give me your first under.
Sorry, a little quick rant there, but
I agree. I got dinner to be.
yeah, we got Din Ma. Yeah, I was just eating Din before. Wasn't
I know
gonna
you
let
were.
all you guys chew in your guys' faces unlike somebody else on this show.
When I was down in Miami, you know what I'm saying? I was moving for the cartel, you know what I'm saying?
I don't know. I don't really like a lot of these underdogs this
Me
week.
neither.
I
Me
don't
neither,
really
man.
like Detroit. I don't really like Miami.
Yeah.
I I don't really like the Falcons. And I don't like betting unders.
I know you don't.
But one under I'm going to take is under 43.5. Houston versus the Titans.
Wow. See, but isn't Stroud back?
He is, but I just don't think I think the Titans defense is okay. You saw the last go around where this defense has been able to tighten up the last couple weeks, and I don't think the Titans offense is really slinging the rock like they did when Will Levis first came in and was just chucking it to D Hop. So
You
I
say
think
43
43.
and a half?
Yeah,
43 and a half. Yeah. Okay.
43 is a lot of points for these two teams here. It's a 1 o'clock game that's going to be ugly. It's going to be like a 17-10 football game.
Sure.
Now that's too regular of a score. It'll be like 16-11 or something. Maybe
Yeah.
do an exact score bet on that. But yeah, it'll be a weird score at the 1 o'clock hour, and you're just like, wait, what just happened there?
I can't believe I'm taking the same type of score, but Raiders Colts under 43 and a half in
Mhm.
Indianapolis. I feel like that's kind of almost a lock.
Yeah, I like that one too. Give me that.
Okay.
I hate betting unders, but I just don't feel good about the underdogs.
I
Like,
can't remember the last time I bet an under. I haven't bet an under in I genuinely don't know how long.
yeah, I don't
It's been
know.
a while.
Like Washington's probably going to get absolutely stomped this week by the 49ers. They're going to come out and try to prove that
Yeah.
last week was a fluke, and they're going to score 40 points by themselves. And I think Brissett's playing now, so you're not even going to get like exciting picks by Sam Howell this week. So
They're gonna
yeah,
kill him.
it's ugly.
Are we just gonna are we both do we
Yeah,
want to
yeah, I'm
take
in
it?
on that under. That's an earthquake. It's an earthquake.
No, but are we taking the Niners at minus the 12 and a half?
Well, when we get to the favorites, I
It's a
got one
big
more.
spread.
What?
It's a big spread. All right, give me another. Yeah, we both got another underdog.
Mm, 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 mm. Hmm. You know what's an interesting game that I thought about for a second, but the Chiefs have really
Yep,
fallen
very
apart.
interesting game. Very interesting game. But is this where they dominate?
Yeah, and listening to Travis Kelsey talk on his podcast today, they think this is a rivalry between the two teams. The Burrowhead and the NFC, the AFC
You're gonna be
Championship
there.
game. What?
Burrow's not even gonna be there.
That's what I'm saying. But
Yeah.
over the past couple years, they've made it into a rivalry where
Yeah.
both these teams have stayed together for the last 3+ years now on
Yep.
defense, the offensive weapons. Where Jamar Chase goes today. Oh, what do you think stands out for the Chiefs defense? Honestly, nothing. There's a lot of talk back and forth between these teams where I would lean Chiefs just because of Jake Browning, but also I could see it being a close football game that's just a knockout, drag out, where the Chiefs really haven't been able to click all year yet. And that I could see that still continuing here if they get emotional and they get frustrated like they have the past couple weeks.
See, I actually think that the bet here is the under. Because I think that what you're going to have is, I think you're going to see both of these teams struggle, and Patrick's going to put the team on his back. Like I see, you know what might be the value bet here? Patrick anytime touchdown.
Yeah,
Where, this is a 17-10 game,
Mm-hmm.
100%.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree.
A 20 to 10.
I'm not gonna touch plus
13
350 for a touchdown. Not bad for Patty
for
there.
Patty McFaddy. I mean,
Yeah.
what do we think? I mean, but I
I'm
also
not gonna
do think
touch it. I think it's a good football game that'll be interesting in the 4 o'clock slate. But I'm gonna go Chargers 3.5.
Chargers 3.5.
That
Okay.
game's ugly with both teams going with the backups. But I think Sean Payton's really shaking up this team, and I don't think it's gonna be for the betterment of this. And I could see
I could not agree more.
and I could see the Chargers maybe squeaking out a win.
Yeah, and I'm doing what I just said. I'm doing Bengals versus Chiefs under 43.5. I took a lot of under 43.5s there.
Mm-hmm. That's the number.
But
That's
I
the
agree with you
number.
though, dude, to what you just said. I mean, I think I don't get why Sean Payton would do this. Again, just for the reason, what is the better alternative that's available in the league? Do you think Joe Flacco's better? I would agree. All right. To the faves and overs. I'll save my favorite one for later. Dude, I think that we gotta ride it. They gotta do it this way. At the end of the day, if you don't, you got problems. Eags minus the 10.5.
Yeah, I'm going with them too.
Bang! Bang, 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 bang. We call that the Sherlock Holmes bet. That's called the earthquake of death. Eags plus the 10.5. All right, hit us with your next one, dude.
And then I'm going over that Saturday night game, 52.5, Detroit, Dallas. I don't think either defense is going to stop each other.
Is that in Detroit or Dallas? It's in Detroit. It's
Dallas.
in Dallas. Yeah.
I was thinking about going Dallas the 4.5 because they love playing at home. But I think I'm just gonna watch points because I don't like rooting for Dallas at all. And that was
Yeah,
a big
I
talking
get it.
point this week for Philly sports. Like, you want technically for the 1 seed or the 2 seed, even I think you want Dallas to win this football game so the Eagles can get the 2 or the 1 with however it shakes out. So Detroit has a 1 less win than the Eagles do by the end of the season.
Yep.
But where I look at it is if it happens, fantastic. But I'm not going to physically sit there and be like, come on, Dallas, come on, Dak. Nah, it's not happening. I want them to lose and I want them to be embarrassed. And we'll figure it out on the other side of it.
Come on, Dallas.
Yeah.
Come on, Dak. I mean, that is phenomenal. Bucks minus the 2.5. I love them here, dude. I think Baker feels like a badass right now. He should. He's put the team on his back. I think he's ready to go.
Yep. And my last one, I'm going a big line here. 2 big lines. Well, we'll take San Fran. 12.5.
I love that. San Fran minus the 12.5. So here's what I'm debating, dude, because I like San Fran here, but I figured out that the Ravens do better when I don't put them as my lock. And so I just got to put them in as my favorite, which means that I have to put San Fran in as my lock, and I hate that.
You're doing it out of respect that we just kicked your ass, and now here's a favor for you. We'll give you one.
And with my lock of the day, San Fran minus the 12.5. You heard.
You just kicked their ass. You took care of business. Now, out of good favor, well, we'll give you this lock pick, and you can have this win.
What did LeBron say? What's that video of LeBron? Here go 2 more for him. Like talking about like albums. It's like when LeBron thought he came up with a deluxe album. So funny. All right, what's your lock, bro?
I liked your pick before. I like Tampa Bay 2.5.
Ooh, nice, dude. Nice.
I like Tampa.
TB. All right, let's do the parlay, brother. Okay, if you want to go crazy, let me open up the app.
Well, where are we? Do we go with a couple of the earthquakes or?
I think that we got to put the Bucks in there.
I like the Bucks.
Yep, I think we got to put the Bucks in there.
Do we like the over in the Bears-Falcons game or now?
What's that line at?
37.5.
The over? I don't want to touch. That's such a.
No, we don't got it. I'm just looking. I'm scrolling.
I like the Colts pick, the one that we did, Vegas in the under. I like that.
All right, I'm cool with that.
Now, my question is, the Ravens have done well for us. I'm just going to say one thing one time.
Yeah, but are they hashtag due for a clunker? That's my only thing.
They're due for. I'm going to tell you right now. This is going to be an unders game. Absolutely.
What's the weather like for this weekend in
I'll tell you right now. I'm not. Hey, listen. You don't
because
see
if Miami is wearing those candy ass light blue teals in Baltimore in the cold, and the Ravens come out in the purple and black.
And we are. Ugly. We're wearing the black jerseys with purple pants, dude. The threads are crazy. And you know what? You know that I got to pull out the T-Sizzle jersey for this game. You know I do. The
defense has got to come out this week.
Yep.
Even more.
47. Dude, I don't know. I like the under in that game. 46.5. I'm telling you, dude, who's going to win this Ravens game? We didn't even talk about it, but who's going to win this Ravens-Miami game is who can win the slow battle.
Yeah, and I think Baltimore is more equipped to win a slow battle.
Do we like that? Or no, not for the lock?
Nah. How about Buffalo, New England? No,
No, jeez.
no. Mm,
I like the Jags -6.
we like the Texans money line, but it's 200.
At that point, I'd take the 4, wouldn't you?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Um,
I like the Jags at the
Case
6.
KC minus the 7.
Yeah. I like the
KC.
Jags too.
Okay. Do we like them both, or do we want to exchange one of them?
Let's go KC.
Okay, that's what I think too. Good pick, dude. How do
Mm,
we feel about the Steelers catching 3.5?
I thought about that, but I just can't
Yep,
bet on the Steelers anymore.
fair
Like
enough.
the
You bet
Seahawks
them a
can
lot
be
this year.
okay,
So
but
low
Mike
rent.
Tomlin, underdog on the road, I don't, catching points. I just don't like it. Do we go birds? 10?
Yeah, I think we go Eagles 10. Yes.
Quiet over there.
Well, I mean, that's a lot of locks though in our thing, dude. We've never done 3 locks, but you know what? Take a chance. Let's put it in.
Columbus did.
Eagles minus Eagles minus.
15 wins you 184 and 25 cents.
All right.
Place.
With that, ladies and gentlemen, it was the Lamar. It was the Lamar show. We're all laughs here. Go buy Philly drinkers. Happy holidays to all. The New Year's. Go Ravens. Go Ravens. We're winning the Super Bowl. It's Eagle v. Raven. It's Hollywood Hair. It's Brennan the Bod. We love you. Go visit Philly drinkers. Go subscribe to Cold Ones. Go like the episode. Share it. We love you. Thank you.
Go birds.